You're always a lovely person to have on stream.
Oh, thank you.
What?
Cette version.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are excited to bring you a High School Heroes Esports League brought to you by Outrun Digital. I'm Solly from Ringside VR, and with me today is my wonderful co-host, Control Flirt Delete.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
It's going great. So today we've got an exciting event planned for you all. Our competitors are going to be battling it out in one of my favorite VR games, Virtual Fighting Championship, aka VFC. We've got an exciting match. I think our finals match coming up. So, Control, tell me a little bit about what we're expecting to see here and our competitors today.
Okay, well, High School Heroes is an esports organization for high school students around the country. It's really cool. I did the championships last year, and it was a lot of fun. We have Cutie Pop, who's running the operation, so shout out to him. And the students that we have today will be from Lewiston. I believe I'm saying that correctly. School, and they were in it last year as well. So let's see who we have. We have a Thriller and KM, who will be going head to head.
That's exciting. And I believe today we're going to have a best of 5 finals match for the championship for this league. So this is going to be determined who is the best of the best right now in VFC High School Heroes.
Yeah, the best of the best. And I want to point out that KM mentioned that she sold 5,219 boxes of cookies. So I think she's going to take it. I don't know. She seems pretty like
I mean, that's a lot of hustle. I mean, if she can bring even a fraction of that to VR gaming, I think that her opponent's going to be in for a hard time.
I just love that was like her fact is like, listen, I sell cookies, I can do this, which is totally true. Yeah, those girls are aggressive. I know because I have a pantry full of cookies from them.
Big fan of Girl Scout cookies. You got to get them as a sponsor next year.
All right. Well, speaking of sponsors, we have Antlion Audio today. They offer high quality, innovative audio equipment at affordable prices. I'm wearing one right now. That's their mod mic. And don't I sound great?
You absolutely do. Looking sharp.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, it's I love this mic. It comes right off as well. So that's the mod part of it. And so thank you to them for sponsoring today's event.
Absolutely. And so for those of you unfamiliar, VFC or Virtual Fighting Championship is a VR fighting game with the idea of being part realistic fighting simulator and part, traditional fighting game in the vein of, such 2D classics as Street Fighter, Tekken, games like that. So our competitors are really, battling it out in a truly new VR esport. And it really combines both, the virtual aspect as well as the sports aspect. It's going to be a very physical match. They're going to be, throwing hundreds of punches, and I'm very excited to see it.
Yeah, this is the cool thing about doing different esports, because some of them are like, they're floating in space kind of a thing. And this one is an actual game. So I was actually wondering about like punching, because I was asking you, Sully, about like, you're punching the air, because I would feel like I would need like a punching bag or something in front of me just to kind of like stop me from aggressively punching nothing until I hit a wall.
For sure. So, I mean, that's something that's, kind of true about all VR fighting games is, you're punching air no matter what. Even if you land a successful hit, you're technically missing, quote unquote. And that's actually a big deal. If those of you familiar with fighting mechanics, when you actually land a hit, a different set of muscles engage, and missing a punch is going to be more physically exhausting than landing one. So these players know how to, have their endurance, keep up their stamina, and they're going to be using, every trick in the book to try to get the advantage over the other.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about like the stamina that you need. Is it within the game? Is it something on their own, or how does that work?
Sure. So, I mean, for other games that people might be familiar with, some will implement like a stamina system like Creed. This game does not have that. They say if you can throw 100 or 1,000 punches, that's on you. You got to throw you throw them the way you want. The way that it is sort of mitigating, sort of just throwing a ton of punches, is this game really strongly revolves around a stun mechanic. That while you are stunned, you do very little damage. However, if you block a shot, you can remove your stun. So we're going to be seeing a lot of clashes and a lot of engages where people are trying to get basically the best combo off that they can to do big chunks of damage. Yeah.
So for those of you who are, just coming in, watching and wondering, the students are playing in a headset, and they will be standing, punching, and doing it in their own space. So that energy, like you really like have to reserve it. I'm guessing. I just remember competing. Yeah. I get really like, I guess like excited, nervous kind of thing. And so when I'm punching nothing or like, throwing at nothing, it it does look kind of like it's a little jarring. So hats off to them for training on this.
For sure. There's definitely an aspect of it that's sort of, halfway between realistic fight, halfway between kind of video game, almost like a martial arts manga simulator where you kind of feel like you're in the fight, even if you're not getting, hit yourself, or if you're getting that feedback on your punches. But you get into it. Like I've caught myself going through all of the fighting mistakes in this game where I forget to breathe. I get like super
Right.
into it. I get hyper aggressive and just try to chase down someone for a knockdown. This game, once you've mastered the mechanics, it is just as complicated as any real life martial art.
Wow. Okay. Well, when they put feet tracking in there, maybe that will
That's
really
true.
liven it up. So wait a minute. So are they like snap turning? Is it all natural turning in the game? So can you move around, or are you just kind of like facing each other the whole time?
Sure. So the game has, both movement in your physical space as you do it, as well as a stick movement, a dash, and snap turning. Personally, I like to just turn, with myself in VR, because usually if I'm not connected by a cable, it just feels more
Hardcore.
natural. Yeah.
He's a true one.
But especially if you come from, some kind of martial arts background, it'll feel much more natural to you to, use more of your physical body to do the work. And something that I like to do is sort of use the gameplay mechanics that are there to add on to an existing, fighting strategy that I'll have. And so I'm very, very excited to see what these players are going to do, how they're going to play. Are they going to be aggressive? Which characters are they going to pick? Because, there's going to be some advantages and disadvantages there. Each of them have their own unique stats and powers.
Yeah, you were saying that yesterday. From the students I hear, they pretty much all have an aggressive style, is what I'm hearing.
Okay.
So no one's pulling any punches. They will be just going all in, which again, I wish I could see them in person playing, because I would imagine it's just like,
Absolutely.
like when you just kind of I'm not going to like try and do a defense. I'm not, my method is just like going boom, 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 going crazy. So I don't know. I kind of want to see that.
Oh, absolutely. It's that youthful energy, right? Like they got it. They're not like, these 30-year-old fighters who got like a shoulder pain or something there. These kids are young and they're ready to throw down.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. That's the kind of match I want to see. I want to see some knockouts. I want to see people go flying. This game really balances that realistic, but that, it has that video gamey aspect. You're going to see some special effects. You're going to see some crazy ragdoll KOs, hopefully. This is going to be entertaining.
I do want to point out that this league, it's a high school league, and it's the only STEM accredited one, which is really awesome. So yeah, I mean, like if you have students, if you have friends in high school, reach out and join. This is a really great league. They're doing great things. And you just need a Quest, right, to play. Oh, and actually, tell me a little bit more about VFC's new mixed reality.
Yeah, so this game is still a little bit in early access, although that's something that's going away from the Quest store, but it's still in development. The developers put a lot of heart and soul into this game. I've actually interviewed them on a separate podcast, and they're as of just last month, they released a new mixed reality mode, particularly for those Quest 3 users. So if you wanted to, if you're tired of fighting in the same VFC ring and you want to take someone out to your living room or to your backyard and beat the crap out of them, you can do it now.
I like the encouragement. And Kitty does say that you can play on any VR headset, which is true. I played this on my Index, but the pass through probably looks really great. I haven't tried it yet on my Quest 3. I'm excited.
Oh, for sure. And again, there's a lot of care put into this game. The developer, this is one of his first VR games that he made. It's a small 1 to 2 man team, depending on what time you're talking about. And it comes from his own background, where he has some martial arts in his family history. I believe his grandfather was actually a kung fu master and like stunt double in movies, and so he uses that the family input to say what's realistic, and balances that with his own idea of like what should be a fun game. Ideologically, I think this game is in a great place. It really hits that middle ground of like I'm here for some fun, but I'm also here to work out.
Okay. Okay, well, the students are just getting ready right now. They're probably eating some Girl Scout cookies, getting them
Power up,
getting
yeah, get that
into
calorie
well,
boost.
might as well, right? Because yeah, you need that calorie boost, and they're gonna be exerting it. And as Sully mentioned, there are special effects in this. When you see a body flying, that is not really happening. All students participating are safe and sound, playing in their play space. The only thing that they have to worry about is maybe hitting a wall, which I guess is a rite of passage. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think something that almost every VR gamer has experienced, right? You didn't set your boundary quite right. It was just a little bit off, and you get too into it, you just smack a wall. I think you could look at VFC, and all of the the regulars will have some kind of little scar on their hand somewhere where they just took a little bit too much gusto there.
Yeah, well, definitely been there. So.
Yeah. But as you're saying, right, that's kind of one of the cool advantages of a VR combat sport is you're not, sustaining head trauma. There's not really a risk of CTE. As long as you have solid VR legs and you can handle, the idea of walking, punching, and also kind of sliding on the floor with your controller. This is a great system for you.
Okay, looks like we're getting ready to load into the game. Exciting stuff. Let's see who you're cheering for in the chat, guys. What are you looking for? I see some of you haven't tried this game yet, so you're looking to see how the game plays. And I have played it. It is fun, and it is a burner. So
definitely one of the biggest workouts.
Yeah, I would say that. Oh, here we go. All right, let's go. Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about these characters here? We have Kirsten, and it was this you will burn. Wow, that's a threat.
1 second. I am still trying to get to the screen.
All right, yeah. I mean, they're going right into it.
All right, so yeah, here we go. I'm connected. Sorry for the technical difficulties. So we've got two characters. We've got Tang on the left, and we've got Fala on the right. So already these two are going at it aggressively, and we're pretty close to our first knockdown. But as we have some time, I'm going to tell you a little bit about their abilities. So first off, and there's our first KO.
All right,
powerful shot.
It was the cookies.
Yeah, and so that's So Kirsten, KM really doing a great job. Fala's advantage and something unique only to this character is that her punches can actually punch through your guard a little bit. You're not going to be doing full damage, but you're still going to be chipping your opponent. So she's the one character you can't just sit behind a solid defense to beat. You're going to have to either counter her, dodge her, or stun her to do it. And it looks like You Will Burn is figuring that out just now. And boom, powerful right hook. Beautiful KO. And so on the opposite side, right, we have Tang, who is what I like to call the stamina fighter. His advantage is that he has generally good baseline stats all the way through. But his advantage is that he has good health regeneration. So if he can keep his spacing and avoid getting chipped for any kind of damage, he'll heal up pretty quickly. And that becomes something that forces his opponent to engage on him.
So as far as the players go, from their point of view, are they just getting, is their camera just shaking? What do they see here?
So from a first-person perspective, right, they're going to be looking at their opponent. When they get hit or stunned, their screen will go, "Ooh, what a good shot!"
Wow.
So when they get KO'd, they'll stay in place wherever their head was. They'll see their body flying off somewhere else, and it'll be in black and white. When you're getting punched, you're going to see your screen sort of look like it's cracked and bloody.
Oh wow!
Ooh,
wow. This is going crazy.
You Will Burn, really putting the burn to Kirsten right now, and as you can see, using the advantage of the ring, kind of trapping them in a corner, and really working around it.
I mean, I haven't seen this character actually, so she looks cool though.
Yeah, she's cool. She's got like a little bit of a, almost like a Black Widow vibe from the Marvel's movies with the little white hair there.
And you said she punched through the guard, so emotional.
Yes, that
damage
little
as well.
electricity on her hands she
Yeah.
can do some damage to you even if you block her. If you don't block her, she's going to do even more damage. So
And how's the blocking work? Is it just hands up, or do you have to press any buttons? Or she's gone for
it's
a while.
just hands up. One of the mechanics that's unique about it, and I think is very... Now, VFC has a bunch of mechanics that are not quite direct one-to-one for real fighting, but feel like real fighting. And in the guard is one of them. So your guard is going to be stronger the closer you hold it into your head or to your body. If you can imagine, there's sort of like an invisible hitbox around it. It expands the closer it gets to you. And, a little bit of that is realistic in, when you're fighting in real life, you're tightening up, you're guarding. So even if you get hit on a spot that's not on your arms, you're bracing for that impact and preparing for it a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when I fight in real life, I have electricity coming out of my arms, so I'm good too.
All right. And we're getting through our break, and we're getting into round 2. Looks like You Will Burn took the advantage that round, but let's see if Kirsten can come back.
Yeah, it looked like she took off her headset to take a drink of water or something.
Got to stay hydrated. Like I said, this is a full physical workout. I have hit max heart rate and ended matches just in a pool of sweat, immediately having to be like, well, wipe down the headset and go shower. That was intense.
And we have a question in the chat about scoring. How does it work?
So the way that this game works, you win a round based on whoever gets the most knockdowns. So anytime you see someone flying, that's going to be basically a point to whoever got that KO.
Oh, wow.
And it's first to 3 rounds won. A draw counts as a win for both players. So basically, whoever can win 3 times or win and draw 3 times more than their opponent.
Well, so it looked like his character just kind of spawned right behind her.
Yeah, listen. A little bit of that. So there's some amount of this game. So I don't know if we'll be able to see it, but we'll have. I like it.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is a beautiful counter by Tang. And we can just see her slumped in the corner. I love the ragdolls in this game. They look so fun.
I mean, it looked like she was trying to get low, which is definitely a thing.
Oh, and something else about this game. Anywhere basically above the knees is a valid hitbox. So your blocking is basically from your fist down to your elbow, and then from your knee to your head, all of that is hittable zone. So there's actually a solid advantage for going low and hitting body shots.
God.
Ooh.
Was there? Did you see any special technique here? Is it just like, wow, I didn't see that one coming.
Good counter there. I'm seeing a lot of different techniques. So definitely for You Will Burn, I think he's trying to pick his aggression in very specific spots. A little technical difficulty here, and I love to see the sportsmanship though when people let their opponent get everything figured out. But so what I was noticing, You Will Burn, and this is very good for Tang, is looking for sort of quick engages where he can do a big combo or do a big flurry and then get out, heal up, and engage again after he's sort of had that health advantage.
Oh, wait, you know what? Okay, so the students are actually in the same room. They're in the gym of their school. And
wow.
I'm just making up a narrative here. It looks like Kirsten's trying to physically find the where are you? I'm coming for you.
Mm-hmm. You Will Burn, you can definitely see kind of popping in and out and then staying in when he gets a stun landed. So you'll be able to tell if you're playing when you've landed a stun. There'll be some little Looney Tunes style stars above the characters' heads. And that round, I think, went to You Will Burn as well, coming in strong this first match.
And a shout out to anyone watching it in the stands, right, of the gym. That's pretty cool. That's the cool thing about VR esports, and I wish people could see the energy it takes. It's it is physical, and when they're crouching, they're in the game, they're crouching in real life. It's it takes a lot more than pointing a mouse, which I know has its own type of skill, but
absolutely. Just something true about all VR, right, is it's just a lot more physically immersive and physically intense. And even though the legs are not tracked in this game, it's the only things that are direct position are the heads and hands. These fighters are moving around their space, they're stepping, they're punching. Especially You Will Burn. I see he's trying to take those angles, and that's why you sometimes see him pop up around kind of behind Kirsten.
Oh, and they're just folding into themselves. That's not a game feature. That is a VR feature. You know, we should be proud of the the mangledness that happens there. It just happens that way. But you know, as I mentioned, this is a STEM accredited league, and the cool thing, and I hope that as students play, that they learn about the accessibility of VR as well for people who need it and for a variety of reasons. I've used it for, you know, therapy before, like physical therapy. So there's a lot to it that is a little bit more than just, you know, playing video games and burning a little calories.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. All right. So our fighters are going to be taking a short break between those rounds. Got to rest up. You know, it's very, as we said, very physically draining.
Yeah, some games, I know it's a little intense, but some people wear camelbacks, you know, so they can drink water while they're playing. And just a suggestion.
No, I mean, I love all the different little tricks people use. I've once played this game using like boxing resistance bands. I've seen some people play it with you know, weights on their legs or on their hands. You know, something I'd be careful about. You don't want to pull a muscle, but definitely adds to that layer of immersion.
Yeah. Like
Something
I said,
I
feel like I would want like a punching bag. I don't know if that would help if I was like in mixed reality and maybe could see it or something. I don't know. I just feel like I would get a little too intense. Just a disclosure, okay? I'm being vulnerable here. When I played air hockey in VR, I leaned into the table that wasn't there and fell over. So that's what I'm talking about. Is like maybe just having a little something to give me that feedback that's a little bit more physical. So I know some people use bands, you know, for like from their waist to just kind of give that resistance as well. That's pretty cool.
For sure. I mean, that's something that, you know, this is early VR, realistically. You know, I'm sure they're playing on some Quest 2s, maybe a Quest 3, but it's, you know, we're getting, you know, it's a whole field that's advancing. You know, maybe in a couple of years, we'll see people play this with full haptic feedback suits, right? Where they can feel a punch and maybe they can even have some resistance that stops their hand if they've, you know, made contact with something.
Yes.
No, I see a lot of
the Haptic Queen actually is in our chat right now. So shout out, you know, if you want to like talk about some haptics, you know, maybe drop it in the chat for them to, that would be really cool. I mean, to wear, right? Because then you would physically like feel it if they like, you know, tap you.
For maybe sure. I think that would, you know, that would only add to your, you know, to sort of the immersion in the gameplay, right? It doesn't have to hurt you, but you definitely have to sense it. And I think it gives you a little bit more respect for someone else's offense.
All right, so you also cast this game for the league, and you play as well.
Yes, so I am, you know, once upon a time NA champion of this game. Recent season.
I did not. Oh wow, I did not know we were in the presence of royalty here. That's awesome.
Thank you. That was about a year or two ago. So I still compete. I love to get into it and, you know, just see how the competition and how the gameplay has evolved. It's always a great workout, and, you know, there's just so much to this game. In anything, you know, the meta of it that develops is not only just the gameplay itself, right, but what you can do with your body, right? I know people who they can throw 1,000 punches and not get tired, and that's their technique. I know people who have are so good at weaving with their head that like their spacing is amazing, and they just dodge punches by like a hair's breadth. As far as the real time in this game, right? There's a little bit of a ping delay, but, you know, them being in the same room probably is almost as good to perfect as you're going to get. It feels very realistic, right? Like it's not that delayed. It's not that jittery. And it's got really smooth little mechanics, little bit of AI, prediction of where your punches are going to be to help make the whole experience smoother.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a while since I played, and I did confess recently that I do get a little scared playing against NPCs. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. I know they're not real, but they scare me more than playing against a real person.
For
So,
sure.
but now that you say that, I'm kind of like recalling, like remembering, like seeing the points of when you hit. Do you guys have a system for that? Like, is there like a part that if you knock, it gives you more points, so that's kind of like a strategy for some players?
Oh, sure. So this is, I think, a good time to explain about how damage in this game works. So damage is going to be calculated based on speed and then distance traveled in an arc of a specific punch. So it has a lot of punches. It's not a boxing game. This is more of an MMA type game.
Okay.
So it can take, jabs. It can take straights, hooks, uppercuts, overhands, even back fists.
Oh, right. You're
And
right. Yes. I remember having to practice that. Okay. Yeah.
and so basically, it's not about hitting harder. It's about hitting faster and more precisely. So as long as you hit a spot that's not on their guard, you can do high damage. If you can follow it up once they're stunned with a combo, you'll do even more damage. And that's really where those big chunks getting out of the health bars are coming from.
That's what I really like about esports is when like you have the game at face value, but when you like dive into it, there's tradition, like touching
Mhm.
gloves or anything like that in the community. But then there's also like these strategies that people come up with. So it's a lot more than like, okay, let's just go in there and exert ourselves. There's probably something like, oh, I'm gonna go this route, and you learn the player's style over time. So these players actually play in another league as well, for VR. And I also play for the same league, VR Master League. And it's really cool just to see like the progression of it. So beyond this game, they're playing other games too, which
Mhm.
and I know I'm just trying to appeal a little bit, but I'm speaking truth. There's a lot of like to do with like education in this. You learn so much when you're playing esports, like working in a team, strategizing, getting your timing right. All of that is a really cool like a brain game type of thing. So
Mhm. Mhm.
so I think this is great.
Something that you mentioned, I think, too, that I really love about this game is the level of physical immersion. It really feels almost like you're, in a fighting gym with your buddies, right? It's virtual, but you get some of that camaraderie that comes with like working out with somebody. I like to describe this game a little bit of a between like competitive shadow boxing and point sparring. So there's really a lot that you can do, and you can even, it might not necessarily be, I wouldn't say replace, if you're going to train for boxing or MMA or something, don't just play this game and then hop into a ring thinking that you can fight perfectly.
Yeah,
But
or
it's
yeet people across the way. Yeah, that doesn't
yeah,
happen.
but it's definitely a supplement. They're throwing all those punches for real. That's cardio, right? They're building a little bit of a fighting IQ, even if it's going to have to change to adjust to whatever sport you do in real life. You're building hand-eye coordination. You can learn, and if you want, try to play a match much more realistically and try to keep proper form. Play with weights to sort of build strength. It's an amazing workout tool. It can be an amazing game and fun tool to play with your friends, and I just love to see these kind of things grow, these communities grow.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hope that they continue on and play if they're I'm actually not sure if they're done with high school. They're still in high school, continue playing. There are some college leagues as well. I
Mhm.
you know it's still like slowly growing, but I think I'll be like a VR esports advocate for life because it's like it's changed my life playing it. Like I said, I've used it for therapy. And you meet like a lot of really cool people, but to watch young people play as well because like they come and play in the league when they're playing with adults too,
Mhm.
and a lot of them are really like they have like a maturity to them, and
Mhm.
also a little immaturity, which is
Sure.
met with glee from the rest of us, so we get it. So it's
Yeah.
really great all around, and I really encourage anyone out there if you're thinking about playing, join. You can play at the high school level if you're in high school. You can also join some leagues out there that are open to anyone everywhere.
Absolutely. I think it's one of those great, like it's a great workout tool, right? If you think about it, $300 for a Quest 2 and not that different from, buying a home workout system of some kind or
Yeah,
a gym
gym
membership.
membership.
Exactly. And this one you don't have to leave your house for. You can stay home. You can meet with other people. You can work out solo if you want to just fight some AIs or hit a punching bag. There's there's a huge variety, and I'm with you 100%. I'm a huge advocate of these of VR esports in general. I think they're a great, they're a great tool. They're a great workout.
All right. I have gotten word that they are just, taking a quick little break. They're loading in, maybe munching on some cookies. Oh, all right. Just to be a little silly here. If Girl Scout cookies were power-ups, which one would be the most powerful? Thin Mints, or...
So I have a controversial opinion. I do not like Thin Mints. They are my
that is
least favorite Girl Scout
controversial. How
cookie.
dare.
I think they're called Caramel Delights now, the ones that
Okay.
used to be called Samoas, but those are by far my favorite. I think, obviously energy boost for all of them. I think, I don't know. I'd say Thin Mints. That feels like a speed thing. I don't know why, but like the cool mintiness feels like you're quick.
I hope Kirsten just sells a bunch more from this.
Yeah, if anyone wants message through the chat, I'm sure she's got the hustle to sell some Girl Scout cookies after this.
All right, here we go.
And we are back. Kirsten looking like they're doing a little bit more of a defensive strategy now after a little bit of that early aggression. And I like to see it. It's good. It's good to adjust in strategy, and you can just see right there. Good movement, good blocking, kept that high guard, and didn't take almost any damage in that exchange.
Yeah, they definitely were. Oh, okay.
Ooh.
I take it back now. They're going.
Ooh.
Oh,
You will burn with a couple of huge, massive hooks there. And you'll see what happened is once that stun lands, it's really hard to get off. And he was using those big hooks to get around her guard.
yeah.
Very good, smart strategy. And again, keeps pushing them into a corner and making all that movement useless.
You know what? Tell me a little bit about like the advantages of height here, because
So
he's
this is
a head taller.
Ooh. Yeah, and so I think that there's an interesting dynamic here, right? Where there's still some physical advantages you can have. Like if you're heavier, you might have get a little more tired earlier. If you're taller, you might have a little more reach. If you're short, you can get the legs and you can protect your head a lot easier.
Okay.
So in a sense, right, it's a bit of an equalizer, right? If you're a small person who's like 100 pounds, you can still have an equal match with someone who's like 6 foot 250. And honestly, you might have an advantage over them if you're not burning as much stamina.
Yeah, like because this is in VR, it does calibrate to your height, which in other games is also different advantages too. But I mean, he is just like a head taller. His model is anyway. So
For sure. And I think he's using that advantage well here by getting close and just using his long arms to get around the guard. If I were to give any advice to Kirsten right now, it would be to keep her guard maybe a little bit higher and back towards her head. Maybe work in a little bit of head movement and try to duck, because those hooks are devastating.
Ooh, so I see that like they kind of back themselves up into the wall, like to the fence here. Is that like is there a way to get out of that, or
so something about this game, you can move in in both your physical space and with stick movement and dash. But if you're up against a wall, you will burn your dash if you use it, which sometimes can be a huge devastating thing, because that dash is a huge tool for either engaging in or getting out when you're under a flurry or you have too much damage piling up. Yeah, you can really see, I think You Will Burn is using the ring advantage much better. He's trying to really push Kirsten into a corner and make sure that there's nowhere to escape. That's why those hooks are really effective, because you can't go to one side or the other. You just kind of trap between like a pincer.
Oh.
Ooh, a little jump there. I like it. He's excited.
Wait, is that just the avatar, or like what's up with that?
No, I think that was an actual jump in real life.
Wow.
So again, once your height is calibrated at the start of the match, it'll stay. So that's why, you know, when you bend down, you crouch, and when you jump up, your feet will lift off of the ground. Originally, actually, in an earlier, like the very first version of this game, there was leg tracking, but unfortunately, just because that's something that's so. All right. Okay. All right, and we are being told that that is going to be the match. You will burn with an absolutely dominant performance. I think, you know, fully used both the physical advantages and understanding of the game to really adjust to whatever Kirsten was doing and just, you know, create an unwinnable situation. Oh.
Yeah, and he.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, we're having.
No, they're like, you know, she's like, I'm not done. We're going. And
We're going all 5 rounds.
you know, you will burn. He actually he works out in real life, and he wants to get back into martial arts. So maybe this is kind of like inspiring.
For sure. And if he's saying getting back into martial arts, right, that martial arts experience that he has can come in handy. If you know how to throw a punch better, if you know how to, particularly the one I always tell people, how to breathe in VR, right? It's the same thing, right? If you're throwing a punch, just do a little, because otherwise you're going to find that you've thrown like 20 punches and then didn't take a single breath throughout that whole time and are just going to get gassed out.
Oh wow, okay, that was nice. I like how he crouched down, like, here, punch me in the head. That's. What? Why is he crouching? Is he trying to get like a different hit on her?
I think he might be trying to hit more of the body shot, or you know, again, it's he's crouching down, but he's keeping his hands up above in the guard. And so, actually, I'll talk a little bit about the guards that both players are using. Kirsten, a lot more of like a traditional kind of peekaboo stance. You know, those both hands are up and then throwing shots out of that. You will burn kind of using a much more fluid guard, right? Sometimes keeping those hands down, inviting punches, but just to really get the counter. You can tell, I can really see the martial arts experience coming here. Oh, again, that seems to be his go-to strategy, and it's really working for him, is just those big hook combos into a wall. And there's just so little response to that. My recommendation for Kirsten is to use a little bit more of that lateral. Ooh!
Oh, okay.
Vengeance achieved.
Yeah.
A knockout. Huge
You
ring
did
out
not
there.
really get thrown, but that was a little satisfying because it was like, you know,
Absolutely.
I'm at least going to throw you.
And what I would recommend, so again, this is something else that if you have martial arts experience is going to translate really well, is good footwork, right? Instead of just coming in and out in a straight line, you're going to want to use those angles. People, if you ever watch any kind of fighting tutorials, you'll hear people talk about it all the time. You want to get a good angle where your opponent is looking away from you and you got a clean shot on their side or on their head.
Oh.
Yeah, you will burn. Oh, trying to throw down a big old hammer. I love the showmanship here.
Oh.
Ouch. What a slap there.
And the students are having fun right now, and we're gonna let them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay, there you go. Get through that guard.
Yeah, and again, so that's it. You see that advantage with Fala is just that if she can get that aggression, if she can get you into the stun, she can grind down your health very quickly. The trick to it, though, is when you hit a block, you're going to remove the stun that you landed on your opponent. So, there we go. I love to see it.
Oh,
Good sportsmanship. Got to hug it out.
That's so romantic. Oh, I mean, there are like people cheering in the crowds here, and I'm just like imagining that's what's happening in the gym. That'd be really cool, like just to see. I love watching people play live in competitions because it gets so into. If you've ever seen like Echo players play, they're just like sweating and screaming and yelling. You know, so it's just really, it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And it's the power of VR. It's an extra layer of immersion, and that can have its consequences. Like you might forget about something and punch a wall, or get a little physically uncomfortable, but when you handle that your VR legs well, it's just one of the funnest experiences, right? Like I've been in real fights, competitively, and I've been in VR fights competitively, and I've had so much fun, in the VR fights because you end it all, you're tired, but you're not, you don't take any injuries,
right?
And, you get to kind of do. Yeah, you get to kind of do the things that you're like too afraid to try in real life because you're like, ooh, I don't want to get countered and hit in the face.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the fun part about like esports communities. Like you're playing a game and competing, and then afterwards it's fun. Like my old team, we had a tradition to we played an FPS, so we did we always played a traditional knives only round, with our opponents after a game. It was just like something fun. That's kind of what they're doing right now.
Oh, absolutely. And in VFC is something else you can do, right? If you go into the community, you go on the Discords, you'll have people who are like, hey, can we play this using like boxing rules only? So, no hits below the belt, only no backhands or overheads. And most people are just there for a good time, for a good workout, for a good fight, and they'll accommodate you. You'll have your people who are just there to win, but more often than not, people understand the fun of it comes from engaging.
God.
Oh,
he's just like
wow,
wailing on it.
This is like some Ip Man stuff right here.
Yeah.
I love. Look at those just rapid punches, but that did not work out well. Kirsten countered that beautifully.
Yeah, you know what? And I think that this is there's a little bit of romance between the players, so I think they're really just having fun and okay, you will burn one, but please let me beat you up a little bit. It looks like he's a little floating on. I wonder if it's calibrated correctly.
Yeah, it looks like there might have been a little bit of adjustment between the headsets. Maybe between rounds there, but
just like
looks like he's getting even taller. Yeah,
yeah.
This is now like
short,
right. And again, like this is something that if this was in real life, right, both fighters would be taking way too much damage. But my god,
she did it again,
double KO with Ringhouse. Holy crap, that was beautiful. But yeah, this is like, at some point it becomes a little bit more like a realistic fight. At some point it becomes like I said, like an anime, right? This is just DBZ right here. They're just throwing a million punches at each other, just exchanging. Some of them are missing, some of them are hitting, and it's so fun. It's just its own different experience.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm like cheering around. Go.
No, absolutely. I'm invested in both of these fighters, right? I'm glad they're having fun because I am having so much fun watching this match.
And there are a lot of like fighting games out there, and they all have something special about them. Like what is it about this one that keeps you around?
So for me, I think this is the best game that does kind of a middle ground where it lets you use your fighting skill. And I say basically there's three parts to this game: your knowledge of the game mechanics itself, your knowledge of martial arts, and then your physique, right? Like if you have stamina, if you have, whatever your height is, whatever your arm reach is, those things in combination, you need a little bit of all three. You can lean on one more than the other, but if you want to excel at this game, beat everyone else that you encounter, it's going to be a combination of the three. Other games are around, they'll focus more on being a realistic simulator. Some are going to be focusing on more of a kind of a superhero crazy fantasy kind of fight where you can do things that you absolutely can't do in real life, right? Here it's sort of stretching reality. Other games it's straight up like, let's break reality, right? One of my favorite games that I've played was something called Rumble, which is basically earthbending in VR, right? There's no real life comparison to that, and that's just an amazing experience.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun. Well, thank you, everyone. Sully, do you want to give the breakdown of the match, and then we'll send everyone home?
Absolutely. So that was a dominant performance by Thriller. 5-0 took every one of those rounds in a clean sweep, but major credit to Kirsten, who did not give up at any point, put in all of the fight and kept, a respectable couple of knockdowns herself. It was, I wouldn't say at any point it was easy. Both fighters definitely giving it their all and putting on a great show for us.
Yes, as they often say, the score doesn't always reflect the fight. So I'm sure they're both out there sweating. And it was just a really fun match, and they went in afterwards. So appreciate that. So again, everyone, this is High School Heroes. It's a high school league from Outrun Digital, and you should check them out and see if you want to get them in your school. If you want to play, it's any headset. They have other games as well. And a shout out again to our sponsor, Antline Audio, high quality, innovative audio equipment at an affordable price, like the mod mic that I'm wearing. And so thank you everyone for watching. I'm Control Flirt Delete, and my co-caster.
I'm Solly from Ringside, and thank you all again for joining us. Thank you for everyone, the fans, the producers, especially the fighters. I love it. I'm hoping to be back sometime soon.
All right. Thank you so much. It was fun casting with you.
You as well.